Were there other ETs that were helping the Pleiadians or collaborating with the Pleiadians at this time?
Oh, yes.
And which ones were they? Were they the
Arcturians.
Arcturians?
Yep.
Okay.
Arcturians is the first one right out the gate. Anybody else? Hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about what is it like to be a Pleiadian starseed on Earth. And also we're going to be channeling messages from a starseed, a Pleiadian energy, or I should say a Pleiadian family member who is operating from the 5th dimension, okay? So I'm really excited to channel some messages, and I'm really excited to talk about this topic. Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. You know, this isn't something that was even interesting to me in the beginning. It was the angels bringing in people's starseed family members while I was giving readings, and I was like, who's this, who's that, why are we doing this? And that's when we went off into the races, and that was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. But in the beginning, no, I just thought I'd be channeling the angels and that would be it. Maybe they're spirit guides. Okay. So has this always been of interest to you?
I think when I first started awakening, I awakened really fast.
Yeah.
And I feel like I became aware of a lot of different things at once. So it was just kind of like an overload.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced a lot of different things at the same time. I was like, yeah, this definitely makes sense that, ETs are real. Even before, I wasn't really sure if there were like extraterrestrials. I was pretty positive. Intuition told me that they were indeed here on Earth. They have been here on Earth, or we can communicate with them in several different ways. And one of the ways that I feel like I first connected with them was just reading Egyptian books, hieroglyphic books, and all kinds of stuff. And just looking at their art, it's pretty obvious that they have a lot of ET influence. If you look at a lot of ancient cultures, they literally every single one has, looked up to the stars and, hence the word starseed.
And you know what I think? I think, okay, well, maybe they had ET contact face to face, or if it wasn't face to face, it was definitely influenced maybe by their starseed family members or ETs that were visiting, and telepathically, intuitively. Okay, so even if it wasn't face to face and assistance wasn't made that way, they were definitely channeling. We're all channeling all the time. It's just unconsciously versus consciously. So I would assume they probably had some individuals that were doing it consciously, that they turned to for help, for guidance in the Egyptian culture, but also many were probably doing it unconsciously, and in comes the ET energy to relay guidance on how to build pyramids or what designs to make on the pyramids, etc.
It's pretty interesting in modern times. It feels like a lot of people are cut off. Earth feels like it's just been kind of siphoned off and not opened up to the rest of the universe. But when you look at a lot of ancient cultures, it looks like they were kind of, a little bit more open in certain ways than we are now. A lot of people now aren't open to this stuff. And probably back then, there were some people open to it. I'm not saying that they were completely open spiritually, because it was some trying times back then, In the Egyptian times, it was probably very survivalistic type of times,
Well, we have way more distractions nowadays, don't we? We have our phone, our laptop, our tablets, our computers. We're going to concerts, we're drinking heavily, we're going out and our minds are racing. I don't know what it was like back then, but maybe they didn't have as many distractions. So it was easier for the ET energies to get through to them, possibly. But I look at nowadays and I think to myself, maybe we need this, isolation that a lot of people are going through in order to have that space and that time, that quiet time to develop their abilities further with channeling. I see that too. A lot of people tell me they feel like the black sheep of the family, or they feel isolated. They don't connect with people as much. And welcome to awakening.
It's funny that if you're just like spiritual now, you're still even though spirituality is becoming a lot more popular, you still have a high likelihood, a high chance that you're probably one of the only ones in your family that are awakening or are spiritual in nature, which is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. And some people only go so far, like
Yeah,
you might have some people that,
that's true.
they kind of dabble a little bit in it. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool, but they don't look any further than that, which is cool. But I'm gonna get some of my questions now
Oh,
that I have
all
for
right.
you about Pleiadians.
Ready.
And so my
Ready
first
to
question is, what
ramble.
are Pleiadians? What would be your
Okay, well,
definition?
from my definition, from what I've learned over the years of channeling for thousands of people and seeing, I would say at least 1,000 different Pleiadian starseed family members coming in, at least 1,000. So my definition would be it would be other planets that have other species, or if we want to call them races of beings similar or like ourselves. Although, if we looked at all of the different starseed origins out there, Arcturian, Andromedan, Orion, all of them, okay? We looked at what was most similar in frequency or visually to humans, it would be the Pleiadians. However, the Pleiadians have said, yeah, we're similar, and they pull their hands apart like really far. So for us, it would be the most similar, but there are still significant differences.
Mm.
They're very heart-centered, very loving, very developed.
Okay, so how did you
Telepathically.
find out you were one of these
Well,
Pleiadian type beings?
the first thing I noticed was looking in the mirror, and I was really happy I had blue eyes, and I didn't know why. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I have blue eyes. And I was like, ooh, I'm so happy. And then as I moved along, I actually had a QHHT session. And that's when I found out, oh, I've had Pleiadian lifetimes. And also this other medium that gave me a QHHT session said, you're definitely Pleiadian. So I started to investigate that. And also, when I tapped into the Pleiadian energy in the very beginning, it felt like home to me. It felt very comforting, very relatable.
So in this
And I,
QHG session, what are some of the first things that you noticed? Was the first thing, oh, you recognized it as home, or the feeling of home, or what are some of the first things that you recognized about the Pleiadians?
it felt really, really good. It felt very high vibrational, and I felt really happy, and I felt like this was home. And I felt like I recognized this planet, even coming up to it in a spaceship. It was glowing like this beautiful royal blue color. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was like my energy just kind of leapt out of myself, and I couldn't wait to get there. Once I landed, because that was part of the QHHT session, once I landed on the planet, I couldn't wait to get out of the spaceship. I couldn't wait to get out. Okay. That's not how I felt when we went to Earth next. I was like, no, I'm staying in a spaceship. No, no, oh God. So I
Staying with the
didn't.
Pleiadians, I'm not going back to my body.
Pretty
Bye, everyone.
much. I was like, where are we? I don't want to go.
It,
I just remember seeing planet Earth and the contrast of how I felt when I saw the Pleiadian planet, and it was vastly different. Earth felt very low vibrational, energetically cut off from high vibrational energy, shall we say. It's always here. It's just a matter of tuning into it. It's all around us all the time. But it definitely was much more low vibrational than the Pleiadian planet. Once I got out of the spaceship, I immediately had a Pleiadian standing in front of me, and I recognized that frequency as being my spirit guide, Adrian.
and
And
how tall were they?
Pleiadian form.
Were they 3 feet very tall? Okay.
We're, yeah, 9, 10 feet tall. So beautiful, so immaculate that I literally had to ask, are you male or female? Because it was so pristine. Blonde hair, blue eyes, very tall. But just the eye contact was almost overwhelming, because it was of pure light and love, and just love for me. And so here I was, shorter. Are you male or female? And he chuckled and said, male. You should know this. You know who I am. And I was like, sorry. I said I had to ask because you're so pristine and beautiful. And then I proceeded to have a conversation with him, not with moving my mouth, but with telepathically having a conversation with him. Yeah, which was
So
very high vibrational and
I
loving.
know that we have channeled that some ETs don't have male or female,
Yeah,
or they don't present in a certain way as male or female.
100%.
But
Yeah.
the Pleiadians, it seems like they had different genders, I guess you could say. And then I guess when they ascended, they have their light bodies
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But did they have similar male and female, just like we do as humans?
Yeah, it was more male, female, although we would say that might be even blended. And everyone was just so open and loving. I think the sexual orientation wasn't as important. It was just love that was important.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that our souls they don't identify one way or the other. They only to sometimes just make us feel more comfortable. Like if I'm a male in this lifetime, maybe my higher self or soul will show up as more male or something, even though I probably had more female lifetimes than I had male lifetimes.
And that's the interesting part is when I connect in with someone's higher self, they'll present usually as depending on, well, most of the souls that come to Earth, they've been here a while. So they've had either male or female lifetimes. However, off Earth, they've had origins that aren't male or female. And so when I connect in with their higher self, depending on how many different lifetimes they've had as a female versus male, or no sexual orientation at all, is how they will present. So some of us have had more 80% female, 20% male, or 10% female, 90% male. But if
All
you've
right.
had origins that are vastly different than Earth, then you might not feel like you fit into this sexual orientation of male or female box here on Earth.
You might feel like neither or nothing, like
Mhm.
some people.
It might
Okay, next
take
question.
it might take some time to figure it out.
What is it like
Mhm.
being a Pleiadian starseed?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you asked me this in my 20s, I would have been like, huh? Even my 30s, huh? But now moving into my late 40s, looking back at the way that my life has played out and also the individuals in which I have communicated with over the years and just the readings that I've had, I can see that having a lot of Pleiadian lifetimes helps make incarnating on Earth easier. It
Mhm.
just makes it easier to incarnate on Earth. It's like bringing a lot of extremely high vibrational energy with me from those experiences, and I brought that energy here to Earth. And so when you get kicked down, it's easier to get back up. Uh, it's easier to stay positive. However, what I have noticed as well is other people being really irritated and annoyed with me
Mhm.
because A, I'm too positive. B, maybe I talk too much. And maybe C, I smile and I'm too upbeat and I'm just too much.
Mhm.
Whereas their incarnations maybe off Earth has been vastly different than a Pleiadian incarnation, and they're not super happy to be here on Earth because Earth isn't home, right? Whereas for me, I can recognize that I've been here a number of times. So I think it's not only Pleiadian lifetimes, but it's the amount of lifetimes that I've had here on Earth. It felt very familiar being here on Earth, and it felt like I've been here many times. So it's all about the frequency that you choose to have while you're here, which is easier said than done. It
Yeah.
might be easier for someone that's had Pleiadian lifetimes to get that and then put it into practice.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're higher vibrational in general, you're just going to annoy
Mm-hmm.
others in general. And then when you throw Palladian on top of that, oh, I'm so jovial and laughing all the time and stuff like that, that's going to probably annoy other people. So like when you found out you were Palladian later on, say, and you were did things early in your life kind of make a little bit more
Way,
sense then?
absolutely, way more sense. You look at other people that aren't as, Earth is not comfortable for them. Maybe, they would rather do drugs to numb themselves. They're not interested in food as much, or they're not interested in partaking in certain things that are like lots of fun. For me, I love eating food and expressing myself with my partner in an intimate way, and I like to milk it to the max, all the good things on earth, whereas somebody else might just say, I'm not interested in those kinds of things. And I think that that plays from the Pleiadian side of things.
What do you say it's easier for you to be like more primal, like listening to the smells outside and the music, dancing to the music and being in your body, things like that?
Yeah.
That's what
That's
it comes
the
to
other
me
part of it. If you're not happy here, if you're not happy in this vessel, then you're not going to want to be in this body. So from a young age, I always remember really enjoying the forest and being outside in nature and things kind of slowing down and really enjoying it. But I've had readings where other individuals don't see the world in that way, and they just don't want to be here. Maybe they kind of hunker down inside, distract themselves with video games or read.
Yeah, it's really interesting and cool. I know that we've come from completely different starseed
Yeah.
origins, and I'm incarnated as blue avian many times and other types of avian beings, and Arcturian as well. But things really made sense a lot more to me when I first awakened, and then I looked back at my childhood, like, oh my God, that makes so much sense why I was so ungrounded, so out of my body.
Yeah.
And the cool thing I think is about a lot of Pleiadian starseeds is that we see a lot of them in the limelight. So you look at celebrities. A lot of celebrities have had Pleiadian lifetimes, and a lot of the kids that you're maybe more popular in your school, you're like, why are they so popular? They probably had some Pleiadian lifetimes. They're just more comfortable and less awkward in their bodies. People that have other starseed origins, it's a little bit more difficult for them to fit in sometimes. But if you're Pleiadian, sometimes it can be a little bit easier for you to fit in with others, I've noticed.
Yeah, like I'll jokingly say with a friend of mine, what do you think Taylor Swift is? Why do you think all those thousands of people go to Taylor Swift concerts? Do they all just think that her voice is perfect and can't wait to hear her sing? Or is it her energy, her vibe, and look at what she does is that she back to all the people that have been working for her. I mean, she's given out millions of dollars to the people that drive the big trucks that bring in her equipment for her concerts, and everybody has been paid a large sum of money for the sake of herself. She just decides that she wants to help out. And you don't book out concerts like that unless you're going to feel somehow people feel good around her energy.
She exudes a lot of light. I've noticed, like, when you see her on stage and stuff, she exudes a lot of light, which is
And
cool.
that doesn't mean you agree with everything she says, or even like it when she talks. But if you have to look at the fact that she's just on stage, her hair's flowing, everybody's watching her, millions of people are coming to see her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was watching, an NFL game, and every 10 seconds they were showing Taylor Swift at the football game. I was like, I don't know, are we watching football? And then it switched to a commercial, and it was Taylor Swift on the commercial. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's like a Pleiadian to the max. But then you have people like, Charlie Goldsmith from the TV show The Healer, and he's also Pleiadian, but he's a little bit more shy. He goes around and he heals people. So and he's very open. And
before you go any further, I want to stop you. And I feel like this now would be a good time to channel the Pleiadians.
Oh yeah.
And ask them a few questions.
You bet.
If we could ask them.
Yeah. It's definitely I already know who it's going to be. I checked in ahead of time. So we have Pleiadians from very high dimensional frequencies, right? So when the high ones come in, I've got maybe, I don't know, I'd probably say no more than 5 minutes. And they know it too, because they're so high vibrational. that when they come around me, it is too much for me to hang on to channel them for lengthy periods. So when I was checking in as to who I would be channeling today, it's my fifth dimensional Pleiadian Starseed family member, which is a spark of my spirit guide, Adrian, also here. Adrian's covering me from all angles, the Pleiadian side.
So Adrian would be one of your main spirit guides. Would he
Yeah.
also be in your soul group as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, a soul group is what we are placed into, or sometimes we can move in and out of soul groups depending on where our frequency is. But for the most part, in our soul group, we have most of what our starseed origin is. Like in your soul group is mostly Pleiadians. Like, and you have this other soul, Adrian, who's also your spirit guide that's in your soul group. And we're now going to channel him today. It's different than your twin flame. Yeah. Twin flame is like, it's pretty much like your soul as well, right?
That's right. Your spirit guide can operate in a body with you as a family member, as a friend, as a sexual partner. It's not always a romantic thing. But when you have your twin flame, that would be your energy operating in another vessel. So it's just the energy coming from this soul versus your soul. But when I tune in with Adrian's light, he's had many Pleiadian lifetimes with me. So one of these Pleiadian lifetimes, one of these Pleiadian Starseed family members is operating here as well and will channel through me.
Okay.
Because if you Kristin, my name, I'm not always going to be Kristin. So it would be the equivalent of me coming back in the future, my energy of my soul, this spark. Kristin,
I remember seeing that one clip of, I think I sent it to you a while back, but it was like Bob Proctor was talking about, oh, we are not just our name. If you think we are just our name, like a lot of people here on Earth are so like here, they just think that, oh, I'm Paul and that's it. That's all there is. This is there is, you know, and it's really not, you know. And when we, you know, quiet our minds, you know, and listen to who we really are underneath all of that, it's cool.
Yeah, who are you really? Yeah. And then, you know, we only get it. I feel that we get only a dusting of that here in this incarnation or this lifetime. Yeah. I think you'll get a broader perspective of who you really are when you cross over. But you're not just your name. Yeah. You're not just
that's a telltale sign that you are a starseed, or you are a more advanced being than other people, probably, than other souls, is that you're asking those questions. You're asking, who am I really? Who am I? Is this really, you know, curious. Is this really real? Yeah, you're curious. And, or like, what is my purpose? If you're asking these type of questions, and now we have kids today and that are asking a lot of these questions at a young age, which is really awesome. I know I was one of those people that asked these questions at a young age, and it would kind of get me depressed because I would see how, you know, fake a lot of the society was, fake the world was, and how people were, and like, oh, it's Christmas time. What does that mean? Like why are we celebrating this? And like, it's just like funny. Just asking all these questions, it was just funny.
But yeah, when I awakened later on, then I was kind of done with the Christmas time. I was like, yeah, I'm okay with the tree and stuff. This is nice. We're gonna have a nice meal. But this is like just a repetitive, it's just like, what are we doing here? I'm in the kitchen for 5 hours. Like, I don't think so.
Okay.
So there has to be a deeper meaning and purpose to things for me to want to continuously do them. And for some people, they're so honed in on their form of religion that is what it is for them. But it isn't that way for everyone. So my Starseed family member, who is a Pleiadian, there's 3 of them here with me, but Adrian's energy is operating as this Pleiadian because Adrian has had many lifetimes as a Pleiadian, right? So let's see what and where we're going to go with this. He says, thank you, Kristin. It's an honor to be able to channel through you today. Most of you are awake enough to begin asking these questions of yourselves. No, not all paths in which you believe or or are required of you from others to believe will suit you. So if this form of religion does not suit you, that's okay. If this path does not suit you, that is okay, and so on and so forth. And it's also really important to not enforce or push or make others believe as you do. That's also very important. It's important for others. He's showing me us like pulling the horse to the water and trying to make it drink. That's never worked. And it's beneficial, and it's much better to go with the flow and let them find their own way if they want it, if they choose it. Okay. So he's just telling me that his purpose in being here with me is to help me, to steer clear of things that are not in vibration, are no longer in vibrational alignment with my frequency, meaning alcohol, sugar, high content or high amounts of sugar, certain people. So if I come in contact with someone that wants to befriend me, but their frequency is significantly lower, he will help steer me in another direction to be in a friendship or have a connection with someone that is more of a vibrational match to my frequency. He's here helping to steer my ship on top of or in amongst everyone else. Yeah.
Speaking of
And
frequency, what dimension is he coming from, or is he
5D.
speaking from? Okay.
Yeah.
And so what dimension were you as a Pleiadian as well?
Oh, well, I went through many lifetimes until I ascended, until the Pleiadian planet that I was on was no longer a planet per se, but a ball of light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a ball of light.
Mm-hmm. So if we could ask him this question, why would a Pleiadian from the fifth dimension or sixth dimension, why would they even come to Earth? Why would they incarnate here if they could just keep ascending as a Pleiadian?
Well, if we look at him, he's not incarnating here. He's here in the non-physical, assisting those who are having an incarnation or a lifetime here. So if we want to ask him, do any of the energies that come here, have they been to, like, why would they?
Like what
Okay.
I'm asking is, why would your soul, for
Right.
example, come here?
Yeah.
Why would?
To learn and grow, to help others, and to help others with the knowledge and the growth that I've had. Because this is the same or similar path that Earth is embarking upon. It is ascending into the non-physical. So it's moving into vibrational frequency, into light. Isn't that
Okay.
cool?
And one question after this one would be, how could we communicate with them better? What is the main thing that we could do?
Create relaxation, rest, decompression, quiet, peace. And within the stillness, you will hear us.
So it's not, the advice that he gives us is not do more and more and more, it's more just like take a step back almost. And it's almost like, like you would have said in the past, daydreaming, like you are in high school, just relaxing and practicing that state of stillness. Keep bringing yourself back there, just like normal meditation.
Create those moments like, okay, tomorrow is going to be a rest day. It's going to be a relaxation day. And this is a day where maybe I'm going to go out into nature and I'm going to ground my energy. And then maybe when I first wake up in the morning and my mind is nice and quiet, I'm going to tune in and see what messages they'd like to relay to me, and you can write them down. And then you can go out into the woods and you can sit with your back against a tree and you can create that stillness and do the same thing.
Yeah. And also, the more that we relax and let go, it allows a lot of this heaviness to come up within us, which then gets released automatically and transmuted. And then we raise in frequency. And once we raise in frequency, that's one of the number one ways I feel like we can, talk to the other side, talk to the spirit world, talk to extraterrestrials, things like that.
He's very, very much through my eyes. I can feel his energy, like looking out of my eyes. This feels very relaxing. He's a little bit more serious in nature as a Pleiadian, but I think that in order to keep me here on Earth, to make sure that I don't go off the deep end and, drink copious amounts of alcohol, for example, as being one of those things of steering my ship away from, which I've done well at. We're bringing in this Pleiadian energy, which is a little bit more serious in nature. Whereas when I tune in with Adrian as my spirit guide, he's a little bit more lighthearted and he kind of leans back a little bit more.
It's so cool to see how, like, all of our teams are different and unique in their own ways. Like yours is a little bit more serious, and then you look at my team, they're more jovial and things like that. It's almost like you don't need that extra,
need that. I don't need
humor.
That jovial. Yeah. I already got enough.
Yeah.
If anything, they need to ground me and level me and bring me into alignment. Where with you, I think they need to like lift you up and have you see things and joke around with you to make you laugh. But you being a blue avian, you were the first I've ever met. And I was like, what am I looking at? I mean, it was like pretty incredible. It was really quite shocking, actually. I was like, oh, here's a new Starseed origin I haven't been introduced to yet.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Some people from certain Starseed origins, or if they are not as used to Earth, your team's not super serious with you most of the time. They're going to kind of, back up a little bit and let you just experience life here. Just getting used to this experience. And with you, you've been here for quite a few times. Like, oh, it's time to get down to business. Time to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, they get a little more serious with me. Yeah. Well, totally, because I could go run rampant and have a heyday here. Because that I've known from an early age. I was here to have fun and to run amok and go out dancing. And I remember just playing out in the yard, blowing bubbles, and like it was all about having a good time here. But that's the Pleiadian. So in order to kind of like bring me into a place of being able to help others, that came through suffering. So the suffering really helped to, I guess, toughen me up or bring me back down to earth a little bit. And then I'm able to help others with, I suppose, their suffering, and to be patient and to relay the guidance coming in from their team of angels. Because without that suffering that I've been through, I could really associate and understand what people are going through much more so than I did before, where before it was all just let's have fun and let's have fun and party.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely you up too. Some people come here to Earth just to be taken care of by another person or something. And some people have to, really fight for themselves to just live comfortably in this world, live an independent life for a while, before,
It builds that buffer of self-love too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if other people come at you and they have something to say, and the trolls online and the comments that they have, it's just like, and.
Okay, so the next question is, what is the Ashtar command? I keep seeing everyone keeps talking about Ashtar command.
Let's see if I channel it. I get that it's a command center that keeps an eye on the different origins that are out there. They must be real busy then, because that's pretty much unlimited. He's just telling me that they keep an eye on the Starseed origins that are within their proximity. There are other command centers that are named differently in other regions, keeping an eye. So it would be the equivalent of, okay, go ahead. It would be the equivalent of, say, Archangel Michael looks after Earth. So this command center will look after the starseeds that are visiting different, keep an eye on them.
So with this, I'm gonna ask another question. With this, Ashtar command or whatever it is, like would they eye on like habitable planets, and would they go searching out for different planets and seeing if they were habitable for life or intelligent life or species?
Okay, so the information coming through on that one is it's already known.
Okay.
what's habitable and what's not habitable. However, placing them in regions that are habitable where different star seeds see, like, we think that we're only incarnating here on earth. We're not. We are, right? So it's like your guardian angel comes with you wherever you go, and they're omnipresent, and they can be with you here, and they can be with you while you're in how many other different kinds of bodies. Okay. It's the same with this command center. It's keeping an eye on you in this vessel plus other vessels. Also, different star seed origins or ET origins that come to frequent or visit certain planets. So, for example, we may have how many different ET energies here visiting planet Earth, and they keep an eye on them. I think the feel of this is in case anybody needs help, but also making sure that certain energies like behave themselves and act appropriately.
Okay, cool. So even if, like, say someone's soul, they're Pleiadian mostly, and they incarnate elsewhere to a different starseed origin, they might just keep an eye on that soul for a while or something.
Exactly right. If you think about it, there are different ET origins out there that are vastly different than human. And now you're here as a human. You might need some help.
Okay.
So they're here to help.
All right, let's go to the next question, which is, when the Pleiadians came here hundreds of thousands of years ago, when humans were kind of first developing, were they coming from the future, or were they coming as, did they have physical bodies when they came, or were they coming from the future, coming back in time? Like, I'm just asking. Curious.
So tough to answer that because over on the other side is there's no linear time.
Yeah.
But we'll do it for the sake of us here where we are on Earth right now.
One good question we can ask: did they have physical bodies when they first came to Earth?
I get both.
Okay.
So they have physical, non-physical, depending on the stage of time that we're looking at on Earth, because we're operating in the idea of time, would be dependent on if they were to show themselves physically in like a three-dimensional or not. And anything else, they were here long before Earth was even created. So they were participating the energies that were developing Earth long before we arrived. We see it as like a slow progression over time of developing into what we are now. However, the energies that have always been here helped us move in this direction, helped say, like, for example, we had the planet encompassed with dinosaurs, so we would have been able to develop fully to where we are now and bring in the consciousness and the energy that we have now, our consciousness, awareness, awakeness, if we had dinosaurs on the planet. So the energies chose to, he's slightly smiling and saying, evict the dinosaurs from planet Earth in order for us to thrive and grow here. And we will continue to thrive and grow here and develop. And the energies or the souls that are coming forth here to Earth in the future will be very uplifting, high vibrational, heart-centered, and will move Earth into this new time for humanity. He's chuckling about time.
So another question that I think would be cool to ask would be, early on, these Pleiadians, did they bring over certain plants and animals? Did some of the, I know that were here on Earth, they evolved into different things, but early on, did they help bring different plants? And were there other ETs that helped collaborate with them? And what were those ETs at the beginning?
When I'm people and I tune into where their souls have been, I see enough of them going to different planets and assisting these large angels, what I see as angels, and there's a ton of other energies, and they're assisting this planet with the vegetation, the life forms, the plants, the colors.
The elementals, maybe?
No, I'm seeing souls helping with that. I don't see them helping with elemental energies. I see them helping with the foundations of the development of the planet. So it's really fascinating to see that. It's like what they experience or how they grow before incarnating into vessels, into physical vessels. It's all energy. But so what they're doing is helping out with the development of planets before they incarnate into bodies like a human on Earth. So were you helping out with plants and animals, etc., here on Earth? It's a blueprint, if you will, and helping with the blueprint, yes. Also genetics, or I'm seeing DNA strands from the Pleiadians. I'm also seeing light strands. So I'm seeing light infused within our DNA. So it's a light infused DNA coming from the Pleiadians in order to assist here on Earth. But always, this is what I get, has always, they have here. It's not like they left when they've always been here in assisting what Earth needs to further grow and develop. And it's not just us on the Earth's back, but the Earth herself, the Earth's energy, and her, if you will, incarnation. It's also assisting her. They also helped devise and assist and implement with the eviction. They like preferring eviction of the dinosaurs. They're saying eviction because the dinosaurs' energy or their souls didn't continue to incarnate here.
Were there other ETs that were helping the Pleiadians or collaborating with the Pleiadians at this time?
Oh, yes.
And which ones were they? Were they the Arcturians?
Yep. Arcturians is the first one right out the gate. Anybody else? The Arcturians are so intellectually advanced, like they're just on a whole other level. I mean, you know this. You've been one. I can honestly say that sometimes the way you articulate or verbalize things is seems more advanced than what I hear from others. So I think that is pulled from the Arcturians. You look at the scientists, you look at the people that are very advanced on Earth. We need the Arcturians, man. Whew, thank God they came here.
First thing that comes to mind with Arcturians is engineers. We need the engineers.
Oh, hugely. Okay, so who else assisted? Arcturians, Andromedans, Syrians, a little bit with the Orion, other souls coming to assist from heaven. I'm getting the flat on that. Not many.
What about the Lyrans? Did you already say them?
No, I haven't said the Lyrans yet. You just said the Lyrans wouldn't have been interested in this. But some of them, you guys, are Lyrans. So some of you have had lots of Lyran lifetimes and some a few. It's like I've had Arcturian, but I've only had like 2 or 3. I wasn't interested. So I went for Pleiadian, whereas you've had more Arcturian lifetimes than me. And so it's cool, eh?
So with the Pleiadians helping with the eviction of the dinosaurs here on Earth, did they also help with the eviction of other ETs that were here that were more negative, that were here on Earth for a while?
He goes, oh yes.
So one question I was gonna ask, so did they were here and helping here on Earth, but they would also take a step back and let humans do their own thing? Like if we wanted to and that's when the negative ETs, were coming in, and was it kind of just like they were just letting the human race develop on its own?
Well, what he's saying is we see some of these ETs as being negative in nature. However, it was agreed upon that the continued incarnation into, say, gray bodies, certain grays, the soul would not advance. There's no emotion. The consciousness was not able to develop within the physical structure. So the hybrid was brought into place in order to develop and advance the growth of the consciousness, the soul, within the structure. Otherwise, it would be just a holding pattern, and there wouldn't be that growth if one continued to incarnate into a gray vessel. So we see some things as being negative, whereas from the broader perspective, understanding that many souls agreed and to sign up for and knew what they were getting into before incarnating into the vessel in which was taken and used temporarily for the hybrid project, for example. Okay, so that's what he wants to say there. What was
like duality here on Earth is a great teacher for a lot of people, a lot of souls. They knew in order to grow on Earth, we need or to be able to grow. So maybe we need some negative experiences. So I felt like they allowed, I'm not sure if they allowed these negative ETs to be here for a while in order for that to happen. But, you know, a lot of people on Earth went down the negative path. You know, they chose they chose that. So that's probably why they attracted some of these negative ETs to come here. So if you ever hear about the negative reptilians and things like that, that's probably why. It's because humans may have chosen that path. So then they just kind of came here and run rampant for a while, and then after their time is done, then something else. There's a new age coming in, hence the new Earth.
This is what he's saying is that our consciousness is important so that we become aware that we are energy temporarily housed within experience, and that our thoughts create experiences. So if you are going to church and you're being taught from a young age that, you know, if you're not good, you're going to go to hell, then that's what you're creating, that experience. Versus
or if they're teaching, oh, Earth is the center of the universe, Earth is the only planet, we're the only species.
Yeah,
there's
no other species, there's no other energies.
Don't how dare you channel anything else other than
but if you bring about consciousness and you bring about awareness and people start to awaken, they start to ask different questions, they start to delve in different directions, they start to monitor and be observant of their thoughts. They are also observing more so the thoughts of others and the words of others spoken around them, and if that is feeling good to them or not good to them, is that in vibrational alignment or not. And so this is the day of age in which we are walking upon, for many here on Earth, awakening on Earth and bringing about consciousness. When we're unawake, when we're, I call it banging around out there with our thoughts, and you think you are your thoughts, and you're just believing and regurgitating the words and beliefs that others taught you from a young age, and not questioning anything, not seeing if it feels good or feels right. And what feels good and feels right to you may not always feel good or right to someone else. This is the other part of it.
And also, I feel like if you're constantly questioning your beliefs and like all the time, like say you're a spiritual person, you're like, oh, is this real? Is that real? That also can come from a little bit from ungroundedness. You know, getting a little bit more grounded in yourself can help you discern, you know, what you believe and what you don't believe, etc.
Getting grounded is so important because, and also moving in the direction of upliftment. If you have like a real negative mindset and you're ungrounded, and maybe you're around people that are toxic, you're ingesting toxins, and then you're going to channel through that filter. You know, it's really important to, you know, move in a direction of groundedness and upliftment.
And last question, this is a big one. I see a lot of people online saying, oh, Jesus is a Syrian. He's a Syrian. But that's not what I usually get. But one thing we could ask your spirit guide, was Jesus a Pleiadian?
Okay, so to think that Jesus has only incarnated on Earth is too limited. To think that Jesus has only incarnated as a Pleiadian is too limited. Okay, Jesus has been in many different locations. I'm not even sure if he has been a Syrian because I haven't checked in yet. But I do know in conversations that I've had, and I've actually felt his energy feels very Pleiadian. And when I asked him about it, he said he's had lifetimes as a Pleiadian, which makes sense because Pleiadians are very heart-centered, very uplifting. And what is Jesus? Very heart-centered and uplifting. So, what other incarnations have you had, Jesus? A lot as a human on Earth. Pleiadian. I do get Syrian, but it's very few.
Okay.
It's there, but it just doesn't compare with Earth or Pleiadian.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I see more dominant Pleiadian as a higher up
Way
there.
more. Way more, yeah.
One thing I would like to ask him is, what was his role here on Earth when he was incarnating?
He's also talking having a few as blue avian, which I find kind of surprising. So he's saying just a few.
Makes sense.
Okay.
You know, blue avians have a lot of energy, and you know, Jesus has a lot of energy. So he's
His
here and
role
there.
here on Earth was for us to help us see who we truly are. We are not just humans walking around in these like meat sacks. There's much more to us than what meets the eye. And until we are ready to be interested or even come to terms with that, it's up to us as to what path we choose to walk. And you know what else he's saying is he's okay with people who have a religious background being interested and curious and asking questions and developing their consciousness. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. And he's also saying it doesn't have to be one religion or the other. It can be a blend of several. It's whatever suits you and whatever is best for you and your frequency. I mean, he's saying that each of us are built different, develop different, we learn differently, and it's okay to blend or learn from several different paths.
Yeah, there's many different religions that accept Jesus and stuff like that, though, too, which is kind of cool.
It's all about what feels good. What do you feel within your vessel? What is in alignment? Yeah.
And last one is, what is his role here on Earth in future lifetimes? Is it that he had in the past, or
he's joking around like he's tired?
Yeah.
He's like, the first thing out the gate is helping to coach and develop other souls to take more of the lead so that he can lean back more. And he's talking about thousands upon thousands. It could be that. It's how many souls have continued to incarnate here that have the wherewithal strength to continue incarnating back here on Earth and wanting to incarnate back here on Earth to help the masses, which will be greatly needed in years, if we believe in years to come. Okay? So anything else on that? He will be here to assist. He prefers to assist from the other side rather than one-on-one in physical form. He is here on Earth in physical form at this time as a female, and I see as a female in India. But down the road, he would like to develop. So we would deem being an ascended master. So he's helping coach several souls here on Earth to continue to incarnate here to become their ascended masters, essentially, and take the lead.
Okay, so I think that was a lot of channeling for you. Are you feeling okay?
Feeling lightheaded.
So before we sign off, is there any direction that you would like to point people in? Like, you have a YouTube channel and...
Yeah, if they want to come check out my YouTube channel, there's a lot of awesome videos and guidance for others if they want to check out Kristin Davies on YouTube. And of course, TikTok and Instagram, Kristin Davies Medium, Kristin Davies. And, you know, it's all about what feels good to you guys. So if you want to come check it out, great. You want to learn more, great. If this is just a little taste, that's great too. So I'm not about making or pushing anyone to do anything.
Yeah.
It's all
And
about what feels good.
and also, if you see this video on YouTube, like and also comment on the video. What did you think of this video? And would you like more videos like this? Because let us know, and we always do what you guys want, mainly. And also, tell us what you guys, if you are a Pleiadian starseed, if this resonated with you, or if you are not a Pleiadian starseed, or if you know someone that may be a Pleiadian starseed, share that to the share.
You might have a little bit of Pleiadian starseed lifetimes, and you might have a lot. That it might be I might have you, or you might have hundreds. It's pretty cool.
And also, you know, Kristin, she does do a lot of different courses and on channeling, and she also, you can pay for a reading with her if you like, and she's very good at channeling. Also, I do readings as well. I do sessions, and you can also go to my website and also my YouTube channel, Paul Milgis. I'm going to be having different people on in the future talking about different things like star seeds and extraterrestrials and also angels, stuff like that. So
and
yeah, this was fun.
So yeah, you and I will be joining up together to do the next Mediumship for Beginners course coming November 15th for 2 weeks. So I'm super pumped about that too.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye, Kristin.